Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige and this is my open book. In today's video, we're going to be doing a tag video. So thank you to Katie Reeds for tagging me. I will link her video down below and I will also have all the questions. This is called the Finally Fall tag and all of the questions are fall themed. Not all the books are fall themed, but the questions are. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's do this book tag together. Okay, first question. In the fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. So this was a hard one, but even though I probably should have picked a fall answer, my favorite book setting has got to be from A Ship of Bones and Teeth by Karina Halley. This is set on a ship and also like in the ocean. This is a fantasy like paranormal romance and involves a mermaid and a pirate, and I love the setting and the way that Karina Halley really makes you feel like you are literally like in the ocean or you are on a ship at sea roughing it, you know, like really trying to survive, and it feels like you're right along with them. And I just love the way that she's able to really transport you. It just gives like the best, like I said, more summer vibes than fall vibes, but I couldn't leave this one out. When I think of a vivid setting, gotta think of this one. And also look at that cover. That like pictures it perfectly. Okay, question number 2. Nature is beautiful, but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written, but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. So I'm gonna go with Anything Ray Touches by Holly Cast. This is one of the top books of the year for me, and this is definitely underrated. So if you feel like I talk about this book too much, I'm not gonna stop. But anyway, this book deals with addiction. It also deals with suicide. It also deals with a school shooting and loss of a sibling. So this has a lot of heavy hitting topics, but I think Holly Cast does emotional books so well. Like the way she handles these heavy topics is great. You definitely don't leave the book feeling weighed down by those heavy topics, if that makes sense. I think that she just brings them up in a real way that doesn't make it too fluffy to where you feel like you're not really going deep enough. I don't know. It's just like the perfect amount. And it helps that this book in particular balances it out with some great spicy scenes and some playful banter between the two characters. It's the perfect combination in my opinion. Number 3. Fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. So fun fact, I don't really read a lot of nonfiction now, but before I got back into reading fiction a few years ago with romance books, I would read exclusively nonfiction because I was unfortunately in the mindset of, oh, you're an adult now and you can only read things that are productive. So thankfully we don't do that anymore. Not that nonfiction books are bad by any means. I actually have a whole shelf of nonfiction books still with books that I love from that genre. So don't get me wrong, I still like reading them every now and then, but because I've read so many of them, there are definitely a lot of nonfiction books that are mostly fluff and just like positive words, but doesn't really give you a lot of action. So I tried to think of one that actually taught me new things that were like actionable takeaways. And for that, I gotta go with Atomic Habits by James Clear. I feel like this book is usually popular like every January. Everyone always talks about it again. And it kind of, you know, recycles itself. But truly, this is probably the most helpful book that I've read in terms of building habits that are positive and healthy. And I'm also like a math science based person, so I think I like the way how he breaks it down like scientifically, and he really gives you like specifics of things instead of like, oh, wake up early, do something that makes you happy, you know, like it's none of that. It's like actionable things that you can do that actually work. So if you're someone who is trying to build better habits, or if you're just curious to see what, you know, you could learn from a nonfiction book, I recommend checking out this one right here. Question number 4. In order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family or household or friend group that you would like to be a part of. I gotta go with Lucy Score's Knock 'Em Out Virginia series. I am biased because I do live in Virginia, but that's not why. This is a small town romance, yes, and the small town vibes are really good in this one. There's like meddling neighbors, people who are all up in each other's business, but it's also people who are willing to get into a fight over somebody, even if they barely know them. But if they're in the small town, they're part of the family and they get protected. You know, I just love that mentality. I love how you can see everyone's story throughout all 3 books. This is just the first book, but there's also things we left behind and things we hide from the light. And I just love it. If I could pick somewhere to live, it would be Knockabout, Virginia, because I love the vibe of the town, but also the people in it are just, you know, they really do take care of each other. And I think that's really what people like in the small town atmosphere, is that it feels like everyone's looking out for everybody and that you're not alone. And Lucy Score definitely captures that in this series, so this would definitely be where I would go. And I would never be alone. Question number 5. The colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines. When I think of fall leaves, I think of like the reds, the golds, the oranges, and the browns. So this is the fall-colored spine stack that I came up with. So of course we got the gold with Fourth Wing, we got the browns with Legends and Lattes, and then like the kind of neutral from In the Weeds. We've got the orange from Love Theoretically. We've got the red from Magnolia Parks, and then I picked this one because it has fire, and I feel like fall sitting around the campfire, which I think leads into the next question if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, when I see this totally gives me the fall energy that I think we all know and love. Question number 6. Yeah, I was right. Fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book where somebody is telling a story. This one was probably the hardest question on this list for me. I really had to dig through my Goodreads list, but then I realized it was a lot easier than I thought. I should have just looked at my bookshelf. I have a whole section of books by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I think she actually has like 3 books like this. Yeah, I feel like Malibu Rising and Daisy Jones and the Six follow that, but I specifically picked Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So this involves, these are obviously all fiction, but it really makes you feel like it's a real person. That's what I love about Taylor Jenkins Reid. She gets you obsessed with these people to where you think they're real, but they're not. So this is about Evelyn Hugo, who is a celebrity from, you know, like a few decades ago, and she was like an icon, okay? Think like Marilyn Monroe kind of vibes, right? And this particular book is set up to where someone is going to be interviewing her, and it's like the first exclusive interview that Evelyn Hugo has ever done, and she's telling the story of her life through the interviews with the main character. So I picked this one because this is literally just Evelyn Hugo telling the main character her life story, and the twist was pretty good in my opinion. I gave this book 5 stars. Most Taylor Jenkins Reid books for me are 5 stars. Just because, like I said, she's great at this particular, is this a trope? Micro trope? I don't know, but if you want a book where someone is telling a story, you go with this one. Daisy Jones and the Six is set up a similar way where it's like a documentary style, and then Malibu Rising is also similar to where it like takes you through the story of like one night in Malibu, but also gives you like the family history of their story. So yeah, any of those will be good options, but I think I gotta go with this one. It's a classic. Question number 7. The nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read. I'm gonna share with you the book that I'm reading right now. This is There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. This is a serial killer romance. And I gotta say, serial killer romances are either hit or miss for me. I feel like it has to be done in a specific way for me to enjoy them. I'm not gonna lie, at first I thought I was gonna have to DNF this, but I pushed through. I'm actually in a book club, like at a local book club in my town, and this is our pick for the month, so I kind of like didn't really get the choice of DNFing it. So I pushed through, and I'm actually glad that I did. It's definitely getting a lot better now. I'm glad that I got over, I think I was at like the 25% mark when I wanted to DNF. But when I got to the 50% mark, I'm like, okay, I'm glad I stayed. But yeah, this is a serial killer romance. There's actually 2 serial killers in here, and the female main character gets involved between the 2 of them without realizing it. One of the serial killers kind of becomes obsessed with her. He basically makes it very known to her that she's his now. So if you like a possessive MMC male main character, then you'll probably like this. Obviously, it is dark. That's why I picked it for this question. So be sure to check trigger warnings, as always, to protect your mental health. But if you're okay with a little bit of darkness and a little bit of murder, you might like this. It definitely fits like the October vibes, in my opinion. Like, I think that if I tried to read this at any other time of the year, I wouldn't like it. I feel like I have to be in the right mood for something like this. And right now I am in like a spooky mood, so it's perfect. Question number 8. The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. I kind of took some inspiration from Katie on this one. I not only picked something that was heartwarming, but I also picked something that could keep you warm in a spicy way. Okay, because the steaminess is on point in this one as well. I'm gonna pick Major's Welcome Home by Tessa Bailey. So this is a novella by Tessa Bailey, and the male main character is actually a virgin. And he's coming back from being deployed, and he doesn't really have anybody in the area when he comes back to the base. So the daughter of the naval officer who kind of like owns the base, or he's like in charge of the whole thing. I don't remember his title. Sergeant, lieutenant, I don't know. Doesn't matter. But she's the daughter of the guy who's in charge, and she is tasked with picking up this guy from coming back home. So she is his welcoming party, and they have some fun times together, and she, you know, helps him out in more ways than one. But no, all jokes aside, yes, the spice is really good. Tessa Bailey always delivers on the dirty talk, and this does not disappoint, but this is actually heartwarming too, in my opinion, because like I said, you have like, I feel like the daughter of the naval base officer is like very misunderstood, and people kind of like labeled her and put her in a box, and so she feels like she can't really like be herself, or she doesn't have anyone that's like really in her corner. And I feel like he kind of feels the same way. I think he feels like, you know, the world is a lot darker than, you know, the small town he grew up in. He had a very sheltered life. So, and she's kind of helping him, you know, break out of that in a positive way. So it's heartwarming, the connection that they have and the way that they're able to kind of like be an outlet for each other, but it'll also keep you warm from the steam, okay? So this is a double whammy. Question number 9. Fall returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. So I'm gonna go with, I'm sure none of you are surprised, an A.L. Jackson book, my favorite author of all time. This is her Bleeding Stars series. This is actually book 3, but this is my favorite right now. I feel like every time I reread it though, I pick a new favorite. But as of right now, this is my favorite of the series. This whole series is about, this is a rock star romance series, so each book is about a different player in the band, and this is just so good, you guys. Like, I don't even know what to say about it without sounding like a broken record, but A.L. Jackson, well, one, I love her writing style. It's more poetic, in my opinion, and I feel like she really writes in a way that mirrors how our brains work and the way our thoughts come out. And I just love the way that she describes love, honestly, and the way that she's able to pack the emotion in here so you're really like feeling the angst and the tension right alongside the characters. And there's some darker elements, but it's really not a dark romance at all, in my opinion. Like I said, some of the topics are a bit on the heavy side, but there's still like funny parts, there's still great spice and, you know, banter between the characters. So yeah, I really feel like I go back to the series probably once a year, honestly. If not this series, then probably something else by A.L. Jackson, just because I love her writing, and if I could, I would read her books like all the time. And she obviously, you know, she's human and she can't write enough books for that. So I do have to reread some of them sometimes, and that's okay because they never lose their charm. In my opinion, they get better and better the more I read them, honestly. So this is an old favorite, and I'm glad every time it comes back around for a reread. All right, and last question, question 10. Fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. So, The main thing I have to have when I read is I have to have music playing. I don't like reading in silence. So I'm gonna link some of my favorite. I usually have like a YouTube video going because then on my TV it has like the ambiance or like the atmosphere that I want depending on the book that I'm reading. So right now I'm in my fall mood. I'm going through my fall TBR. So I'll usually play some kind of like fall lo-fi music playlist, or I'll find like, you know, Halloween cafe with jazz music, or, you know, something like that. So I'll link some of those down below. The vibes gotta be right. They gotta be right. The other thing that I always have with me when I'm reading is I always have some kind of beverage, usually coffee, or if I'm reading at night, I can't really have caffeine late at night, so I'll just drink water, but I gotta have something to drink when I'm reading. I'm a big pumpkin spice latte girl, so you already know that's what's in my cup. I also always have my cats cuddled up nearby. I'll put some pictures of them here. They're always nearby cuddling up when we want to be in a reading mood, and they're the cutest. You'll also catch me with a blanket. This one is from Target. I always get the big like fleece blankets from Target. They're the best. And then I usually curl up with some kind of pillow. I have this like massive body pillow that's like a cat squashmallow thing. And this is the perfect thing to like prop your head on while you're reading. And it's the best. It's really comfy. Those are my cozy reading accessories that just help, you know, set the mood. Alright, that's going to be it for the questions, and obviously I'm going to spread the autumn appreciation. So I'm going to tag 3 specific people. I'm going to tag Taryn Reads, Mindy's Book Journey, and Andrew from It Came From The Page. So I tag all of you guys to do this Finally Fall book tag, plus any of you that are watching. If you have your own YouTube channel and you want to take part in this challenge, feel free. I'll have everything linked down below. Even if you don't make your own video, leave a comment down below with some of your answers to these questions. I would love to hear what you guys have to say to see if any of our answers are similar. Be sure to give this video a like if you want to see more tag videos, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my future uploads. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.